Welcome to the 2016 version of the North Dakota State Assessment Proctors meeting. My name is Jim Keel and I am your host this evening. Please grab a beverage and make yourself comfortable as we explore the State Assessment Administration. This is the science test that we give in the fall. It is a state requirement. It is used to monitor our performance on the state standards. It is used as a comparison for school performance, which means people in the community do use this test to develop their own perceptions of what's going on at South High School. What's different this year? Not much. The test is still from 2013. We are only getting the science questions this year, so instead of getting the full booklet from the 2013 test, we are just getting the science questions. So the booklets are much thinner, and your load carrying them into your classroom will be quite a bit lighter. So nuts and bolts. On October 26th, the tests will be delivered to the testing areas prior to testing. We will be there at about 12:55. We will have them in groupings by room, so you'll be able to grab your pile for your room and go to it. We are using the Social Studies Hall and the Math Hall this year. Because we have so many students this year, we needed a few extra rooms. In addition to tests, you will also get a test group roster, the revised version of the schedule, information about the student absence sheet that we'll talk about in a minute here. The test books, again, test directions, which you will already have in your mailbox, so we won't give you 2 copies, and pencils for every student. The test will have 2013 on the cover, but it is quite a bit thinner than we've seen in the past. The state did not send out directions, so I had directions printed for you. You will find those in your mailbox if you haven't already. We're only doing the science. Students do not get to use a calculator or math tools unless that is a specific accommodation written into their IEP. So if you're in a mainstream classroom, you will not have students with calculators or math tools. An important piece of information for us is the student absence information sheet. This is really important because it allows us to know who showed up for testing, who didn't, who got things done, who needs more time. So it's very important that you fill that document out correctly. The 3 codes that we ask you to use: ABS for absent, MT meaning the student worked on it but needs more time to finish, and the OTH meaning other. And of course, if there's other information that you think it would be useful for us to have, please include that. You cannot go overboard in taking notes. The test booklets. Every student is pre-assigned a test booklet. They will be in alphabetical order. I encourage you to have your students sit in alphabetical order. Do not fill in the cover, even though it's very tempting to do so. The sticker on the test will either be the student's specific information, or this year there is a new school sticker. If the school sticker is on there, we will have bubbled in the student information for them already. Students will use the same book for both tests. Students who have accommodations will be notified by their case manager on where to go, so they won't be coming to the mainstream rooms. 2 critical items with this test and most other tests. The state assessment is a secure test. It must be supervised or locked, which means once it's handed to you, you must either have it locked without student access or hand it directly to another person like one of the counselors. Constant supervision is required, and you may not make copies. Active proctoring is important. This is a way for you to enhance the importance of the test. Make sure students are working on the section they are supposed to be working on. They are not allowed to work ahead. We encourage you to walk around the room, monitor that student progress. Some testing hints. On page 3 of your manual, it does ask you to remove or cover information that might help the students with that test taking. We're testing in math and social studies rooms, so I can't imagine there's a whole lot of things that will help the students be successful in the science test. So I'm not too concerned about it, but I wanted to highlight that. Room supervisors will read the directions. They start on page 9. Have the students follow along with their test booklets. Make sure they do the sample question. They may not work ahead. However, if they are done with test 2 and they needed some more time to work on test 1, they can certainly go back and work on that one. We ask that you keep the students in the room. They should not be visiting the commons or the library during the testing time. Once students have completed testing and you have collected all materials and accounted for those, you may dismiss the students. So make sure you've collected all the materials before you dismiss the students. During testing, the state asks that we record start and stop times for each session, so put those on the board. Also, please include that on the student absence information sheet so we know what time you started and what time you finished. Students may be allowed to read pleasure books, so no textbooks. There are no electronic devices, headphones, earbuds, etc. allowed in the test room. Just don't even bring it into the room and we'll be in good shape with that. Students will be talked to about the pleasure books. The administration should be handling that issue. We encourage you again to actively proctor your students. When you have collected them, review the physical condition of your test materials. Make sure that the booklets are in good shape. They're not all bent up or marked up. It makes scoring a whole lot easier. Some other considerations to keep in mind: students using a phone or tablet during the test time or in the test room is grounds for invalidation, which counts against us in terms of our AYP, so we want to make sure we're working on not having that stuff. If they have it, please make a note of it on the student information sheet. Students should not be bringing backpacks, calculators, tablets, headphones, etc. into the room. We ask that students stay in the rooms and be quiet once they complete their testing. They should not be talking. If they absolutely must go to the restroom, you can let them go one at a time, so no more than one person from a room at a time. They may not go to the library, the commons for a snack, etc. I encourage you to have plenty of Kleenex on hand. Once testing is complete, gather all the materials, including the pencils. Make sure you double check your student absence information sheet. Make sure you've included your timing, and then you can release the students. Please encourage them to be quiet because there are other students still testing, and so we don't want your students being dismissed to disturb other students. We want those students to ensure those students continue to work on their tests instead of being focused on leaving. I encourage you to return the test books alphabetically and then just bring them to the counseling office and we will collect them. You can leave them with Stacy or Keely or one of the counselors. We'll be happy to take them off your hands. After the collection, all the materials are counted, boxed up for shipping, and the district picks them up. Okay, I appreciate all of you watching the video. If you have questions, please email them to me. I will email all the questions out to the proctors with answers, because if one of you has a question, I'm guessing others will as well. Thank you again for watching the video, and we'll see you on the 26th. Thank you.